Welcome to the Bold Analysis. Today, the 18th of November, when the discussion about the cost of fuel in this country is escalating, William Ruto decided to fuel all the big guzzlers to go and hold an impromptu rally at the heart of Kirinyaga County, of course in Mount Kenya, so that he can take the discussion about fuel to the people. So that political rally, he was there to commission some roads, some ring road in India. Then the real intention was that political rally, the impromptu rally, to speak with Kenyans, also to find an opportunity to get that media visibility. And when he went there, I want to show you videos that will show you that William Ruto is facing it rough. Because unlike in the campaign time, so the new model of messaging or what he's telling the population is simply not getting the sync. The reason why William Ruto went to that area, to Kirinyaga, was number one, to counter the emergence of Martha Karua. Martha Karua is on record telling the president that if things are not going to be held right, then the country might see another protest. Number two, he's going to Mount Kenya to start planting anti-Raila venom simply because Raila is the one leading the onslaught against government. And I want to ask for, in this podcast again, Mount Kenya region must be very sensitive and conscious this time round. It will be backward for yet again William Ruto to start successfully hoodwinking the members of the public from Mount Kenya by a Raila issue. Because the discussion about the cost of living and what's happening in this country doesn't have to do with Raila Odinga. Now I want you to watch this video from Mount Kenya because it will show you, look at how people are staring at William Ruto. And then I've also matched it with what Kimani Ichung'wah was saying against Raila Odinga. And that this first video will actually show you the real intention why President and the team went to Kirinyaga.
Tukaze kamba mpaka tubadilishe Kenya. Mimi nataka niwaahidi kitu kimoja. Hii Kenya tutaibadilisha. Ni kazi ngumu lakini itafanyika. Si namna hiyo? Na ni kazi nitakazana nayo mbaya sana. Mpaka hii Kenya itabadilika. Tunaelewana? Ile kitu mimi nataka niwahakikishie, hatutapeleka taifa letu barabara ya madeni ambayo itatuletea matatizo. Saa hii Kenya inasumbuliwa na ile madeni ilichukuliwa hapo nyuma. Ile kazi mimi nafanya saa hizi ni kusafisha na kuhakikisha kwamba Kenya itasonga mbele. Tunaelewana jameni? Watu wa Kirinyaga tunaelewana? Sawa. Tutashirikiana. Tufanye hii kazi. Hii barabara tujenge. Hii zahanati, hii county aggregation tujenge. Affordable housing tufanye. Ndio vijana hawa wapate ajira. Ndio tupeleke Kenya mbele. Bei ya mafuta sasa tumeanza kuishughulikia. Hapo ndio mnataka kusikia? Sikizeni. Sawa sawa. Bei ya mafuta imepanda kila mahali. Lakini kama Kenya tulifanya mpango, kwa sababu wakati niliingia ofisini siku ya kwanza petrol station zetu nyingi hazikukuwa na mafuta. Mlikuwa mnaona watu wanapiga foleni kwa petrol station. Ni kweli ama si kweli? Mafuta ilikuwa imekosekana kwa sababu madola ilikuwa imeshindikana. Mimi nikaenda nikaongea na watu wa Saudi Arabia. Nikaenda nikaongea na watu wa United Arab Emirates. Nikawaambia hii mafuta, kwa sababu mambo ya madola inatuletea matatizo, hii mafuta mtupatie tuuze kwa shilingi ya Kenya, sisi tutatafuta madola, baada ya miezi 6 sisi tutawalipa. Na ndio sababu hiyo leo Kenya tuko na mafuta, kila petrol station haikosi mafuta.
Nataka niambie yule mzee rafiki ya huyo mama wa hapa Kirinyaga, akisema uongo ya G to G, ukweli nitamwambia. Nimwambie nisimwambie? Nimwambie nisimwambie? Yeye mwenyewe anajua he was a sole guarantor and underwriter of ile mambo ya deep state, ya state capture na corruption yenye ilifanya bei yetu ya mafuta na shilingi yetu izorote. Sababu walishika bilioni 2 dollars, $2 billion. Hiyo ni bilioni ya karibu 300 pesa ya Kenya. Wakashika wakaweka kwa bank moja ambayo walitumia state capture. Na hiyo bank mnajua ni bank ya nani? Si mnajua ni bank ya nani? Hiyo pesa ndio imetuharibia soko ya dola Kenya hii, na huo ndio ukweli. Na mzee Raila Odinga kwa deep state na state capture na handshake regime anajua hiyo ndio ukweli.
So, you know, I was, when I watched that, I followed that event because I knew, I was waiting for what they were going to say, and of course it was very predictable that the discussion there was going to be about Raila Odinga and the handshake shenanigan. That was going to be the story. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to remind you something. At some point, when MPs approached Ruto on the cost of living during the parliamentary PG, he told them it's not yet time to be popular, and they should not be worried that they are not popular because of the cost of living. Thank you very much for this coffee. And dilemma. Thank you for that coffee. Yes, and Nick. Now, the rally was just to debate the oil, take the oil debate to the people. And the Mount Kenya escort squad, there are some observations I realized. The Mount Kenya escort squad is reducing. Ruto was there. The only leader outside Kirinyaga was Kimani Chungwa. So the other leaders normally accompany William Ruto were not there. Of course, I understand the deputy president was in Murang'a for some rural show of Betty Maina. Betty Maina is getting married to Rigathi Gachagwa's home MP. So Rigathi Gachagua was there. And when he's there, I don't think Ndini Nyoro appears because they normally don't share events. Normally don't go at the same event. But the number of MPs who normally accompany William Ruto to Mount Kenya are reducing. That's one observation I also realized. And even the crowd is shrinking. Recently, even NTV did an expose about how Ruto is being heckled. So there is a clear understanding that the crowd is a bit jittery. And just to make it, not, sometimes when we say these things, they look like political propaganda or like we're just doing hearsay. I want to play for you 2 videos. The soundbites, number 1 is of Boni Khalwale. Boni Khalwale is the chief whip in the Senate and also the Didymus Baraza. They are actually going to talk. They are very free and telling William Ruto raw about what's happening from the Western Wing.
It is difficult. I've been in politics for over 20 years, and in my life, I have never been heckled in the Luo Nation. All the way from Kitale to Bungoma, to Kakamega, to Vihiga, and to Busia, and lower and in the diaspora. Mr. Speaker, sir.
What is the point of order, Senator Sifuna?
Mr. Speaker, Honorable Khalwale, the Senator of Kakamega, is misleading this House. In fact, as late as a few weeks ago, Boni Khalwale was heckled in his own village when he tried to convince people to replace the existing border motorcycles with electric ones. This is something of a matter of public record to which Mr. Khalwale, Honorable Khalwale, should not lie to this House.
But Senator Sifuna, I thought the good senator is admitting that for the first time he's going through a rough patch.
Mr. Speaker, I was saying that things are so difficult, my kid brother, that for a man who has never been heckled across the Luo Nation, all the way from Kitale to Kakamega, to Bungoma, to Busia, to Vihiga and the diaspora, for the first time, I was not only heckled, Mr. Speaker, but I was actually heckled at Marinya Stadium. Thank you. I was heckled at Marinya Stadium. And at Marinya Stadium, that is my home. That is my polling station. Marinya Stadium
is the product of my hands. It is where, Mr. Speaker, the youth on the eve of polling usually sleep in the polling station waiting for the polling officers to come and open the station, and so that they can vote for me. And Mr. Speaker, where I have always gotten 41 votes out of 3,800 votes plus as opposition votes to me.
And so, you see, the heckling story is now, the heckling thing is now becoming as a big concern, even for the politicians that have been going on, the politicians of a century. Now, in these streets, while the ground is becoming hostile, Kenyans have actually boosted accountability, and they are putting things into place. They're not coming out shy of saying this is not gonna work. Have you realized that there are two in Mount Kenya? Apart from the Meru impeachment, there was a looming impeachment in Embu of Cecil Mbarire. Cecil Mbarire was also facing another impeachment, and it was quashed somehow by the deputy president, and that's why he went there on Sunday, was asking them to work together. So these impeachments in Mount Kenya have been largely coming because, like, it's a bit of some hostility between the elected leaders themselves, and number two is about the accountability. Even in Kiambu, I was shocked to see a granny leading a protest. You know, we understand, of course, that there is no one who is prescribed to be the only one who can lead a protest. But I was shocked to see a granny leading a protest, and he used really some very harsh words on William Ruto.
Barabara tutaundiwa. Sasa tunajiuliza sisi watu wa eneo hii barabara tutaundiwa siku gani? Tutatengenezewa siku gani? Tumechoka na hizi uongo zao, na hata tunasema kama hata inawezekana tuitishiwe uchaguzi mwingine, tuko ready na tuko tayari tuchaguane tena ili tupate viongozi ambao wataweza kusikiza maslahi yetu na waweze kutushughulikia ilivyo.
Hakika mimi na support hii maandamano kutokana sisi ndio huwa tunaumia. Ukiangalia vijana wa bodaboda, hata ukiangalia vile sasa wanang'eng'ana hapa kila siku. Kukinyesha watu wanafuga kazi. Unakuta watu wa ile ng'ambo ingine wamefugiliwa na mvua. Hakuna ile tunaweza pita kwa hii barabara vizuri. Na kila wakati wakija kuomba kura wanatuambia tutoke kwa wingi kama dhuraku, na tunajitokeza kwa wingi hivyo tukidhani ya kwamba tutapata maendeleo au mabadiliko, lakini wimbo ni ule. Wengine wamekuja hata na chama tofauti. Kuna MCA ambaye anakalia sasa, anaitwa Joe naye ndiye alileta matinga hapa aliposikia tunataka kufanya mgomo leo. Mtu kama MCA anasema hii barabara si yake, angekuwa pamoja nasi hapa akisikitika na sisi, ndio aonekane kweli tuko na solidarity, lakini sasa hatujui saa hizi ako wapi. Wewe watoto ondokeni kwa picha. Kamera zima.
So that is what we are talking about, and I think we have actually shown you something very clear, a very clear line that the hostility is coming. Now, Kenya Kwanza has developed two lines, these two counter narratives. The first counter narrative is that now Kenya Kwanza has developed two counter narratives. Number one, we are clearing Uhuru mess. That has been said until it's a lie that has been peddled here until some very gullible Kenyans are buying it. It's a lie. The second counter line is that Raila is pushing government because he wants to dethrone William Ruto. That's the second one, that Raila is just trying to win cheap political bonga points. I don't know how I will reach many Kenyans. The problem about this country should not be narrowed to a Raila affair. And I think the good Kenyans must understand that it's not about Raila Odinga. Now, the issue of narrowing something on Raila's head is a political narrative so that people to blow people's mind so that they can lose sight of the bigger picture. Kenyans must not lose sight of the bigger picture. That's my point. And I want to say this. The number of MPs that are coming out bravely to defend government have reduced. And people are no longer comfortable about this. In the wake of this hostility between the Kenyan publics and William Ruto, I want to believe there are some three aspects that Uhuru Raila axis must do immediately so that they manage the situation, looking at awaiting maybe outcome of this. Because what William Ruto is doing, his plan is to make things worse, then some few months or a year to election, try to bring them down and then tell the publics, use some very compromised data to tell the publics that we have stabilized the economy. Kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell and like our videos. Thank you very much for supporting our podcasts. Number one, I think Uhuru and Raila axis must intensify visibility of Uhuru legacy. The best way to counter the whole discussion about the whole propaganda of we are clearing Uhuru mess, the best thing to use is to remind Kenyans what Uhuru Kenyatta achieved. When you do visibility of those projects, people understand. Kenyans, we live in this country. Myself, I am a witness. I've gone to Mount Kenya. I've spoken to people from that region. The road network in Kanini Kega's constituency was doubled. The tarmacking kilometers was doubled during Uhuru Kenyatta era. And there's an old man who told me in Nyeri. So people are witnesses. People are seeing what they did. It should not be made to understand that Kenyans are blindfolded to believe that yes, Uhuru borrowed, but there is also that which was done. So that needs to be seen. Number two, the opposition, the Uhuru Raila wing must put pressure on the accountability of the Kenyan shillings. The accountability of the Kenyan shillings, there are some very shocking stories. Controller Budget confessed live on camera that some 2 billion was paid for a loan, a commitment about a loan that has never been delivered. The same Controller of Budget is saying she cannot see, track, and trace all those loans that have been given were given on what? Because loans should be for development. The same Controller of Budget has also confessed that some Kenyans at the payroll, some salaries are doubled or are multiplied by 3. Some people receive salaries 3 times, while in the records they have received 1. For example, if you're feeling 700,000 in the payroll, you are recorded to have been paid maybe 3 times. These are very daring, very ugly exaggerations that just need the attention of Kenyans. So as Ruto is moving and the team is moving around the country peddling that propaganda, I believe those two can help on that. Now, the other thing also going on is the Raila propaganda. Raila Uhuru propaganda. There are only 2 popular politicians in this country now. 2 popular politicians. Number 1 is Uhuru Kenyatta. Number 2 is Raila Odinga. Now, the reason why, and what's happening, that's why they're the ones that are targeted. The reason why Ruto went to Kirinyaga is because of what Martha Karua said the other day. And Martha Karua was speaking about how she will lead a protest starting in Mount Kenya. So what these people need to do is to activate Karua Kalonzo voices on the opposition side, so that it's not about Raila. You know, Raila has been used, his name has been used in Mount Kenya until there are some very confused fellows who everything said about Raila has always been wrong, and it's always about Raila. So let Karua speak. I don't understand why Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka cannot call out the government on what's not going on right, while even if he's a member of the bipartisan talks committee. We saw Ichungwa is a member of the same committee, and Ichungwa seems to have crossed over and is now calling Raila all sorts of names while defending the oil dossier. Kalonzo is also a member of that team, but he seems to be so cagey and a bit unbothered or not moved to counter what Kenya Kwanza is saying. On this one, we're getting something wrong. But that is my take. That to make sure that you dissolve the attention on Raila, let's have the others speak. Let's see more of Martha Karua speaking. Let them get another person to attack. Let's see more of Kalonzo Musyoka speaking, so that it can dissolve that. And indeed, Uhuru Kenyatta was very right to reject the handshake with Rigathi Gachagua, because just a month after Rigathi called for a handshake, the government is back into square one, 001 narrative of Uhuru mess. How about if Uhuru had already did a handshake with Rigathi? Uhuru would have sanitized Ruto. Thank you, guys. I need to remind you, if you're moving your office items from one place to the other, you need a reliable company that you can trust, that can guarantee you security and safety of your treasures. That is why, as the bold, I recommend to you the Topmark Movers. Topmark Movers is an amazing company, led by young people that are very ambitious and working hard to ensure they deliver the best. Visit Topmark Movers. The website is www.topmarkmovers.com, or you can as well talk to them directly through their direct number 0719 17 43 93. In Topmark Movers, they are the best in quality, and that's why they're saying quality is everything. Thank you.